looking forward to going back and meeting everybody back in the township again, especially our folk in the hospice. They've planned a welcome for me, so that'll be nice to hear that. Also good that I've company going over, and so I'm not going over on my own, and I'm pretty okay about it. A few times today I was a bit nervous when I thought about it. I thought, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But I think I am. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Almighty God bless us all.
This is my brother, the priest. Father Kieran Cray is travelling home to South Africa, a place he left 8 months ago after being shot in a violent robbery. He has spent those months in his other home, Belfast, recovering from the internal damage done by 3 bullets, one of which ricocheted around his internal organs, almost killing him. Kieran asked me to travel back to South Africa with him to help him settle back and to support him.
We're here. We're on the flight to Joburg now, and I'm looking forward to going home.
From the moment our plane touched down in Johannesburg Airport, I knew he didn't really need my support at all. This place and these people, his friends, had been praying very hard for his return. They had feared for so long that he would not come back to them. As we snake through the vast township of Vatridgeville, Kieran's work of the last 5 years rises up to greet us, as it greets all those from this township who have needed it so badly. It is set on a hill among the poverty of Vatridgeville. This is Leratong. Its name is Sutu, for the place of love. This place is very glad to have Kieran, the father, back among them.
For me, thank you.
Love you, Father.
I love you too, Lina Karata. Thank you. Anyway, I'm back.
I'm very excited. I never thought he would come back.
You really thought he wouldn't come back?
No. After what happened to him, I thought maybe he would have doubts, but I'm happy he's back. I'm very, very happy.
Are you glad to have him back?
I would have wished to have had him back 6 months ago. Please, that's my humble plea to the Irish community, to the British people, to the parents and South Africans and to everybody. If we can have him back, the better for all of us.
I thought he will never come back to Lerato, to where people shoot and want to kill him. Even on Friday, when we were waiting, we waited about an hour there. We said, maybe he decided not to come.
Are you glad to have him back?
Yes, we were very glad, very excited to see him back. He's like a father to us. He's somebody we cannot just let go.
So just for Banabesu, are sabaling dibisa runa kaboy ko betsu. Hore retse be hunihela se globelo sen se halilang kamukwa masonile hang.
And it's back to work immediately with a celebration mass.
How happy are the poor in spirit? Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Happy the gentle, they shall have the earth for their heritage. Happy those who mourn, they shall be comforted.
It's Friday and the hospice is full. There are 16 patients, one who was admitted, his body covered in maggots, eating at his open sores.
I couldn't go in the room. When you go in the room, there were maggots on the floor. There were flies everywhere. The poor patient couldn't even feed himself. There was food there left. I think it was left previous days before, full of maggots. He couldn't eat. So, it really touched me. So I thought that we won't wait for the medical report. We just have to take this patient, and we took him in.
By Sunday evening, he is dead. This is Daniel, a 50-year-old, who has been with the hospice for 3 weeks.
Dan, just call me Dan.
Just call you Dan. Okay, Dan, we can call you Dan.
By Sunday, he too has passed away. Both men died of AIDS. Each patient who dies here is honoured with a ceremony. All on-duty staff attend.
Amen. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and a perpetual light shine upon him. May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. We gather the staff so the staff can say a farewell to be support for the family. But even sometimes there's no family, we think it's good for the staff that they come and make their own farewell in prayer, in song. That's our second death in 24 hours. Daniel was 50 years old. He died of AIDS, but a young fellow of 31 died this morning, or last night, 10:30, of AIDS. Daniel leaves two small, beautiful young girls, and the mother's just heartbroken of how she's going to explain to her daughters that the father has died. It was a very sudden death. We didn't expect him to go so suddenly, but that's the way it happens. We never know.
Here in the poorest townships of South Africa, life is cheap. HIV/AIDS is rampant. Violent crime is rife. And the roads, well, they're no respecter of human life or dignity. Last night, we witnessed 2 fatal accidents. We saw the bodies lying on the road just where they fell, and no one seemed to bother too much about them. The police went on questioning the drivers as if it had been a minor kind of accident. It's only really when you get to the gates of the Leratong Hospice that you find that there's any dignity in this place. And boy, have they got dignity in spade loads.
Coming here, there was a lack of love for the human being, the human person, and a lack of dignity, especially for those who were poor, marginalised, the sick, especially those who had HIV and AIDS. They were very stigmatised and were put in the back rooms or put in back sheds of houses, and or were thrown out of families. I mean, this is not a place of the dying. People die here, but it's not a place of the dying, it's a place of the living. People live every day the best they can until they die.
Dr. Selo Malachi volunteers his services at Leratong. His surgery is in the middle of the township. When he's not there, he's here.
The AIDS pandemic is very, very serious because I see that even personally at my practice, when I would say out of 10 patients, more or less 4 to 5 are HIV positive.
Selo, the last time I spoke to you was about 5 years ago. There was no hospice here. You've done a very good job here, haven't you?
No, we've done, and it's an excellent job, I must say. And then there was a lot of work that was involved in getting this thing, starting from the planning itself, the fundraising. Had we not had Father Kieran, I don't think we would have had such a wonderful structure.
Dr. Sonia Hitchcock is another willing volunteer. She's an expert in palliative care at the large Califong Hospital in Pretoria.
Oh, I think this is a wonderful place. It's completely unusual, in fact, in South Africa. It's got excellent facilities which are extremely well maintained. The staff are exceptional. Beautiful gardens. The patients all love it. Their families love it. So it's a rewarding place to work because one's working with such good staff and loving people, and that's something that the patients and the families always mention is the love they experience here.
This place survives on people's good nature, volunteering, working for little pay, and funding from several sources. Much is raised in Ireland, north and south. The Irish government also back him. The Irish ambassador to South Africa is now a firm friend.
Well, there's a real need in a place like South Africa to help people who are suffering from AIDS. And Leratong is a good example of a practical project which helps people on the ground, which actually makes a difference to people's lives. We have a commitment to the UN targets in terms of delivering aid to the third world. And we're delighted to be able to help projects like Father Kieran's, which are, as I say, making a real difference on the ground to people, actually helping people to deal with the disease of HIV/AIDS and to make better lives for themselves insofar as that's possible. We're delighted because, of course, he's great vitality and great energy, and he's a very good ambassador of Ireland, to be honest with you, in South Africa. And the media here have given him a very warm welcome, which I'm delighted about. And he's a very popular figure. And we're delighted that he's back and hope to be able to see him continuing his work and be able to help him insofar as we can.
Another funder is the South African Lottery. Its main spokesperson has also become a personal friend.
My first interaction with Kieran was when he came to our office for funding, and my assistant came to me and said, I ran the funding office at the time, and she said, there's a man with a strange accent wanting to speak to you, and I thought it was going to be some African accent, and here was this little white man, and he came the day before applications closed, and I said, well, you don't quite meet the requirements because you needed 2 years audited financial statements and things which Leratong didn't have because they were a new organization. I said, however, you could apply in partnership, but you've got a day. And the next morning, Kieran was there with the completed application form, and it was amazing. And that was the first grant that they'd got from us, and subsequently they've got other grants from us. So, that is that dedication and commitment that we need, and it's not only Kieran, it's the entire community here at the hospice. This is my soul, my Savior God, to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art.
I've been staying with Kieran here at Leratong Hospice for several days now, and I have to say, it's a haven of calm and tranquility. Well, it is during the day anyway. As night comes, things seem to get very different. You feel a threat, you feel a danger from outside. And that danger is eased, I suppose, by the introduction of these sensors, which are right around the perimeter of the building. It's also eased by a new alarm system which has been installed, and a new lighting system, security lights which come on if an intruder walks past them. But perhaps most important of all is this. A metal gate behind Kieran's door, which he locks at night. Now that might make him sleep easier in his bed at night. One thing it won't do, though, is take away the vivid memories of the night he was attacked.
The doorbell rang. I couldn't see anybody. Next thing, these guys just came from behind the door here, pushed me back, and they pulled this door open, broke the lock, and then forced me into my house. And they started to beat me around the living room. I was just wearing my dressing gown, and they tried to gag me with the dressing gown. Finally, I managed to wriggle through them and went through the door. And just as I got to about here, they all jumped on me and started beating me to the ground. And because then I was in my bare feet, so my feet had been scraped along this ground, and they just started really manhandling me and tried to force me to get back in. That's what they wanted, to shut me up and get me back into the house. And I thought, I don't want to be tortured, so I just thought, I'm going to fight. It's fight or I'm going to die here. I'll not survive. And the next thing, I could hear these shots of blue flashes, and that's when they shot me in the arm here and in the chest there. They had a gun pointed at my heart, So I managed to push the gun away, and the gun went off in my hand and shot the guy who was here. As I was getting up from a starter's position, two of the guys came up from behind me and shot me point blank range. You can see it up there. That went right up through my pancreas, through the gullet, up into the lung. It was like somebody had punched me from inside. And then I made my way to the medical room, and I found it locked, and I started banging on the door to get the sister. And so, not knowing what to do, I made my way around here, and this is the private rooms, and I thought to myself, I don't want to die in here. That would be ironic if I end up dying in one of the dying rooms in our own hospice. So I came out, and I was afraid of them seeing me, that I was still walking, because I think the last gunshot was to kill me. So I managed to make my way into the kitchen. But at this stage, I was getting very weak. I mean, I'd left a whole trail of blood behind me. And I came in here, to the dining room, and then I went out into the veranda. And I got up and I just started shouting to the neighbours. And then I just started banging knives off this railing, just to try and raise attention. Just sat down in this chair, and I just said, this is it, this is it, I'm going to die. And I just said, God, not this way. I don't want to die this way. This is going to be too painful for my family and too painful for my friends to find me dead in a pool of blood here in our veranda of the hospice.
Kieran's shooting was big news home in Belfast. But what surprised me was the amount of media attention it received here in South Africa.
Talk Radio 702.
21 past 8. Well, we've been following the fortunes of Father Kieran Cray, and now he is back and he joins us on the line. Father, did you ever feel like giving up, Kieran, not coming back? Because I know you were, quite apart from the physical damage, it was also a hell of a blow to you.
Yes, it was. It was really like a violation, because this place where I live, I live in the middle of Atteridgeville, and as you well know yourself, South Africa can be very violent at the moment. But this was like a haven of peace in the midst of that, and that was violated that night.
I'm very glad to be back. It's nice to be back into the heat and sunshine, and got a fantastic welcome from the people of Atteridgeville. I've lived here for 4 years in the hospice, and we want to finish off our projects. We're building a clinic and a preschool next door. I've started that work, and I want to continue doing it.
Had Kieran not been shot, this scrubland at the side of the hospice would look very different.
This is the site of the altar when the new church is built, and the clinic on that side and the creche on this side.
Had you not been shot, do you think we'd work?
Oh, it would have been, well underway. Because we have a lot of funding in for it, and a lot of the plans have gone to council. Just unfortunately, typical of South Africa, the professionals get lazy when you're not around to push them. There's a clinic in the hospital, the local hospital, that looks after 3,000 patients. Yeah. They can't take on any more. Currently, they reckon there's about 100,000 people living with HIV.
So the clinic's like an outpatient?
It's an outpatient, and it's treatment, so that the people don't get that sick.
Yeah.
So we will take all their 3,000 patients. They'll down refer them to us.
The shooting had an impact not only on the building programme. The father was missed on a personal level. This is little Offensi. He walked 5 kilometres from his home to see Kieran on the day he returned. I know Offensi. I met him 5 years ago when I was last here. Kieran and I visited his family, and I spoke to his mother about how AIDS had affected an ordinary family like theirs. She worried that her little baby, Carabello, may have contracted the disease in childbirth.
If you get sick, if you get very sick, who's going to look after the children?
Father Kieran and my mother, I have 2 of the best. I'm fine. I'm doing fine, just fine. This disease, it doesn't choose. Poor, rich, is the same thing, because there's no cure.
Offensi's mother died a couple of months ago. Kieran wasn't here to administer to her or ease Offensi's suffering.
We've been friends for a long time. She's been living with HIV and AIDS for many years, and she died, unfortunately. She went to hospital and never came out, and I thought if I'd have been here, I'd have been able to go and get her out of the hospital and bring her to Loratong and maybe got her good palliative care, and she didn't. I don't think she needed to die, Sometimes people here die of neglect or bad treatment. The mother asked me if anything happened to him, would I be his guardian? Would I be his daddy? And I said I would. Don't know how that's possible, but I would be able to, at least try and get help for the family to make sure he gets to school and the other children are well looked after, and if they need anything that I can help out there.
Kieran was missed personally by everyone here. They feared the hospice would founder without his input.
He gets things done so quickly, and without him here, it's been tough.
He's the cohesion behind the whole building, the whole staff, and everybody else.
And he is missed. He's missed by everyone in this community. He's been around, here for a long time, and we hope that he's going to be here for much longer time with us.
So how safe will Kieran be? The local police have arrested and charged a number of men. They say he's so well known in the township and so well respected that no one will harm him again.
We are happy to have a white man in our township, and making such big changes here now.
Is he safe?
I can say he is safe living in a township because I can say that gang was the most gang that were terrorizing communities of Atteridgeville. And since they've been arrested, the cases of armed robberies, they really dropped dramatically.
Did you see Kieran that night?
Yes, I saw him.
Was he bad or was he okay?
He was bad, I can say, because he was really bleeding profusely from those gunshot wounds, because he sustained 3 gunshot wounds from the back. He was actually bleeding heavily.
Will you keep him safe? He's my brother. Will you keep him safe?
Definitely, yes. I can assure you, yes. We will make sure that he is safe.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I shouldn't have survived. I should have been long gone for many different reasons. Loss of blood, lung collapsing, the fact that the bullets went in through my gullet and up into my lung, that I should have got septicemia, the length of time it took to get to hospital. All those reasons, I don't know, not sure. My worst sense of it was the whole sense of being abandoned. And I actually that night even felt that God had abandoned me, it was like, where are you? But as time has gone on and hearing how lucky I was to have survived against all the odds, and I have a deeper sense that God was there and was protecting not just me but our patients and our staff. That night I have a strong sense of there's something else to happen.
I'm leaving Leratong after 8 days, and I have to say what an honour and a privilege it's been to be living among some of the most joyful and compassionate people I have ever met. It's amazing also to see just what a part of this community Kieran has become. And despite the danger which seems to pervade everything in life here in South Africa, I think I'm happy enough to leave him behind among his friends.